Hey folks, welcome back to the bench. So today I wanted to go over the disassembly and reassembly of the M1 Garand's bolt. It's not something you normally need to do, but if you have a rifle that's got a lot of use on it, or it's gotten dirty or wet, or a bunch of dirt in there, you want to take this apart, clean out all the little nooks and crannies and bits and pieces and all that good stuff, and get it ready for further use and keep it from wearing out. So the tool that I'm using today is made by Matrix Precision Parts, and it's designed specifically for taking apart the M1 Garand bolt as well as the M1A and M14 bolt. I'm not going to go too deep into it, but you see it's got this handle here, and it has two positions. The rearmost position is for the 30-06 bolt on the Garand, and the forwardmost position is for the 308-762 bolt on the M1A and the M14. So basically all you do, you take your bolt out of the stripped action, you lay it in the tool like so, and you bring the handle down, and the handle's got some sort of like quasi sort of rubberized coating so it won't mar up the back of the bolt. And all you do is you just, with it in like so, just squeeze down, and what that's doing is that's causing the ejector, that's that little dealer right there, to be pushed back into the bolt. A cutout is lining up with the pin down here that's on the tail of the extractor. So with everything lined up, you push on this plunger down here on the bottom of the tool. It's a little pin that comes out, pushes on the pin on the tail of the extractor, pops the extractor out, then the ejector and the ejector spring will come out. The spring and the detent for the extractor will come out, and firing pin of course will come out, and you're done. So it goes in there like so. Give it a good squeeze so it's bottomed out, and they say you can take this pin here and just push it against a hard surface, and that'll usually get the extractor out, which sometimes it will do it gently and sometimes it makes a big pop. So to avoid upsetting the camera, I just got a nice soft-faced hammer. I'm just going to give it a whack. There we go. Probably just saw that fly out. So there's your extractor. It's out. And then I'll just shake the extractor detent and spring out. It's this little bit right here, and then just gently release the handle. Make sure the ejector and its spring don't go flopping out, and the ejector and spring are free, and the firing pin comes out back into the bolt. And now you can clean your bolt, you can inspect your firing pin, you can inspect actually all the little parts that come out, and if anything needs to be replaced, you replace it. And assembly really is pretty much the reverse order of assembly, but we'll go through that anyway. So assuming everything's clean and happy and whatnot, slip your firing pin back in, make sure it's flush, and you can stick your little detent and spring for the extractor back in there. You can stick the ejector and ejector spring back in. You want to make sure you've got this cutout right here lined up so that it's going to mate up like that inside the bolt. For those folks who learn by seeing rather than by words, see how that's going to line up like that? That will allow this to slip into place. And then this little tail pin on there is what's going to hold the ejector in there and give it just a limited range of motion. That's why it's cut not as a semicircle, but like more as an elongated slot. Alright, so back in that goes, and we'll get it as close as we can. Make sure it's moving freely. Alright, back into the tool. We'll line up, make sure that the ejector lines up with the little adjustable hex head pin or hex head screw, or Allen screw, excuse me. That's this little thing right here. And this actually can be adjusted in or out to make sure that you get the pin attached to the bottom plunger lined up with the hole on the bottom of the bolt. And from there, just gently squeeze it all back together, like so. Take your extractor, drop it in the hole, and a good push should be all you need. And if that's not enough, sometimes I'll just wiggle the handle a little bit to adjust the positioning of the ejector. And sometimes that'll, there you go, just a little bit, and there, pops right back in. Easy peasy. All done, ready to go back into the rifle. You can't get any simpler. The other reason you would want to take this apart is so that you can headspace the rifle. And headspacing is going to be the topic of the next video. It's a very simple process, but you need headspace gauges, which they're not too expensive. They're about 25, 35 bucks a piece. They can go for more if you get like really super duper accurate ones. But we're not building a match rifle here. We're not building a long range rifle here. The farthest I'm ever going to shoot with this is probably going to be about 600 yards. Just some regular Forester or Climber headspace gauges. If you want, go ahead and Google them, look them up, see what I'm talking about, and then the next video, if you hopefully decide to watch it, will hopefully make a little more sense to you. Okay, so there's that. Now there's another way to take this apart, and I don't like doing it because it's a real pain in the... But you can use the USGI tool. I'm going to get this thing out of here. That comes with most Garand cleaning kits, original Garand cleaning kits. This is the same tool that we use to remove the gas plug. Same tool that acts as the handle for the cleaning rod if you assemble it. And then this right here, and I know it's going to be kind of hard to see and make out the detail, but it actually has a bunch of different little bits and pieces cut out. So go through them real quick. So this right here, this middle hole or slot, I guess, if you want, right there, that's where the firing pin will go. So as you're pushing on the bolt face, the firing pin might pop out a little bit. This will prevent you from screwing up the firing pin. This little rectangular piece right, let's see if I can get it, there we go. This little piece right here fits into the groove between the bottom of the extractor. There, that's a better angle. So that little rectangular piece fits in right here in this slot. So you turn clockwise, and by turning clockwise, you push the extractor upwards. Out of the bolt. And then, of course, the little sort of half-moony, semicircle looking little notches right there, right at the bottom. So those are obviously for pushing in on the ejector there. Okay, and I mean, the tool works, but man, it can just be a real pain in the testicles sometimes. But let's give it a try. So let's see, when I do this, I usually like to grab the bolt in my right hand. Zoom out, let's go wide. Whole lot of rosy. Okay, so bring the bolt in my right hand. My palm is backing up the firing pins, doesn't flop around too much, and then line up that little rectangular piece with the slot between the bolt itself and the extractor, like so. And the piece of doweling actually helps to push in. Otherwise you're pushing basically against this, and it doesn't feel very good on your hand. So in, and then turn clockwise, and you can see that the extractor is just popped up, hopefully. And that's it. Just release the pressure gently, extractor comes out, ejector and spring come out, and all the other little pieces will come out. Your firing pin and the little detent right there for the extractor. And I've taken apart a lot of Garand bolts, and this one's actually proven to be one of the more difficult ones I've ever messed with. Alright, I think I got lucky that time, so I'm just going to push the extractor in. Hopefully I got everything captured. Oh, just by a thick hair. There we go. She's in. So you saw how many times it took me to get it in with this thing. Now granted, it's probably because the ejector spring has a kink to it and does need to be replaced. And if everything was, you know, all things being equal, it wouldn't be that hard. But yeah, I mean, look at this. This is not exactly the most ergonomic tool to use. get one of these if you're planning to mess with these. You know, even if you're not, if you're only going to buy 1 Garand and keep it for the rest of your life, get one of these tools. It's just going to make your life so much simpler. And I paid for this. I bought this years ago, 2, 3, 4 years ago, something like that. So I'm not trying to shill for them, but it's one of the better tools that I've seen. So just keep that in mind. So anyway, thanks for watching. Those are the ins and the outs and the pitfalls and the perils. Here's your pitfall and here's your peril, and here's your smooth and easy of taking apart and reassembling the M1 Garand bolt. You know what, I'll take this one apart one more time, and I'm going to leave it in pieces because the next video is going to be about head spacing, and it's got to be apart for that anyway. So, pop her up. Give her a good thwack. Let her out gently. See how much easier that is? Life is just too short to bang your head against the wall when there is an easier way. And that was the easier way. Cost you a few bucks, but I don't know. Aggravation is priceless. Thanks for watching.